Hello. Hi, guys. Mackenzie, Latanya. Um, you guys, welcome to. Hold on a second. See if I can get that fella. Got him enough. Yep, he's drunk now. Give me a minute here. Okay, terrible. All right, I had an annoying fly here. So, anyway, welcome to week number 4. This is 4. That means we've crossed over to the second half. And as I tell my students, I say when you get to week number 4, at the end of this week, any assignments from week 1, 2, or 3 that you have not turned in, you will not be able to turn them in for credit any kind. Discussion posts are excluded because they're already over. But as far as written assignments are concerned, and you also would have problems probably with your with the lecture if you haven't already submitted that as well, because of the fact that you lose a point each day, and once you get past 5 days, then you're kind of out of it. So you know, so anyway, uh, okay, I got that one. This is really bad. What's happening? If you saw what I was dealing with here. Oh man. Yeah, I guess they're trying to. These things are doing. Okay. Anyway, um, there's one more. I don't know where he's coming from. Sorry about that, guys. All of a sudden, I don't know. I don't have any windows down here, but there's some flies coming in down here from somewhere, and I don't know how they're getting in here. But I do know that they are down here, and they're wreaking havoc down here. So might fly in front of the screen or something. So anyway, as I was saying, week 4, you really have trouble getting assignments in from weeks 1 to 3 afterwards. And I already said that discussion posts were excluded, as well as even if you submitted um, a view of the lecture from weeks 1 to 3, now you wouldn't be able to, because you're beyond 5 days late in terms of that, because you get 1 point for each day late there. So that generally doesn't include students who come to the lecture. And so, but as far as written assignments are concerned, it is important to understand getting these assignments in. So here's what I'm going to do today at the outset, is I'm going to share my screen, and I want to help you guys out with something. Last time I talked about in detail making sure that you follow the rubric. And so I'm going to go to my grade book. And see if I can do this. I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try to do it. Okay, let's see. It's going to show the names of students. Okay. Let's see if it'll allow me to use my name as a student. Let's go back. I'm trying to show you something in the rubric. Let's see, maybe we can try to do it with the coming into the course. Let's get into the course. Let's do student preview. Okay, because I want you to see something. I don't want to reveal anybody else's except my own. Jeez. Okay. Let's see if I can find a way to do this. I was toying with it. Okay, let's see. For example, week number 3. Okay, I should be able to do it now. Let's see if it's going to show me. Okay. All right, like right here, you can see this. Now, if I was going to give points, here, let's say, for example, I gave emerging, limited, the report did not include at least 4 laws or regulations, and then that would give you 2.75. Under the section here, right under this last section, you would see comments that said that you failed to provide adequate information or details. That's where you'll see your feedback. Sometimes the feedback, okay, so under each section, same thing here. If you satisfied everything here, you'll get 20 points and you won't see any comments. But if you have 17, but let's say 11 again, and you'll see why, because it says limited explanation of each listed law. That's why you only got 11 points. All right. So then I would close that section up. Close that section up. I'm just showing you where you find your feedback. And then under the next one, same thing. And you'll find some comments under it. That's where you find your feedback. Because I have students that reach out to me and says, oh, I couldn't find any feedback. That's because you're looking on your paper. But you gotta look in the grade book under the rubric. And if you look under the rubric in the grade book, you will find it then. That's how you get your feedback. So the number of points determine exactly how you end up getting your grade. So like I said again, under quality requirement, this tells you what to do to get mastery of it. This tells you what to do to get proficiency of it, confidence. And if I use this 2.75. That's what you're going to end up with. Same thing with the next one. 11 points as opposed to 20. And the next one. Okay. APA is missing 2.75. So the point I'm telling you is that when you get up here, for each of these sections, if you don't have information to support your statements, then chances are you're going to get fewer points, and citations really wear you out. Citations in the body, APA formatted, and references at the end. Very, very, very important in terms of getting good grades. But that's where you find it. It's in the grade book. It's in the grade book. So you, as a student, when you check your grades, you can go under the assignments, and you'll see it. This only applies to assignments now. It doesn't apply to anything else. Discussion posts, it applies to assignments. Same thing, graded with the rubric. And then if you go down, it tells you here, if you get limited explanation of the basic elements, you're going to get 8.25. Reasonable explanation, you're going to get that point, and the points add up. That is how you get your grades. Okay? So that's why I said the rubric is important. Everybody know where to find the feedback now? Okay. And that's kind of like what I've been saying, but I can tell you every week I get emails from students that say, I didn't see any feedback. I said, that's because you didn't look in the right place. You got to look under the details of the rubric, number one, and it's in your grade book. If that's your individual grade book. And I'm doing it with the student preview so that we don't expose anybody's, because none of these, okay, like this one here says a draft saved for module 3. That was this one. All right. So if the assignment is submitted, and then it says new attempts will be marked as late. Well, yeah, because we're through with week 3. Because it says past due in there, past due. But again, it shows you graded with the rubric. And if you come down here, you'll see how you arrive at each points for each section of your paper. It's very easy to satisfy. That's why I said to my students, forget these exist down here. Report include at least 4 laws or regulations. So guess what? If you don't have 4 laws, if you have 3, 2, or 1, you're going to end up down here. It has to go down there because it says here, report did not include at least 4 laws. So you're going to get these number of points. So clearly you see if you don't have 4 laws, you're going to have emerging. It's so clear when you look at it like that. But unfortunately, what has happened is that students want me to, excuse me, write on their papers. I says we use a rubric, and you really should prefer that I use the rubric because the rubric is objective. In other words, I don't determine the grading criteria. The rubric puts it out itself. It's already computerized and calculated and weighted. So all I do is basically read your papers, see if first thing I'll read is, did you satisfy the requirements? If it says 2 pages and you have a page and a half, for example, okay, this one here, again, APA goes down, you automatically going to drop from here. Some professional tone, okay, with a few errors here, formatting errors here, more, but with no APA, I can't even get you in between here. So APA drops you. Let's look at what we got going this week. General partnerships. So here's the rubric for it, right here, for this written assignment. And it's weighted. If you get these two messed up, you lose 50% of your grade right there. You're already in trouble. But here we go again. Thorough and detailed explanation of legal and ethical duties and responsibilities of general partnerships. This section, general partnerships, limited explanation. So you just might have mentioned it, but you didn't elaborate on it and gave me some details. You can end up in this section down here. Your grade is already dropped. Same thing here with limited partnerships. And I'll tell you this at the bottom after I get to, like I said, if I use this one, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say, very good job, you did it. No, it speaks for itself. Your points speak for itself. You look in your rubric, it tells you every time how many points you got for each section. Right? Doesn't it? In your grade book. Yep. And so you see it's there. So light bulbs should be coming on. Partnership. Vague or minimal rationale for selection of general and if you say none, there are students who will leave out one whole section and then bam. And then of course, once again, let me get back down here. Okay, it won't let me do that. I have to take it. Now it'll let me do it. Okay, so then if you come down here, see, citations are not used or references. So you come from here, no grammar errors, no spelling errors, and text citation and references. So you're going to get a 5 in this section. But you want to support your statements earlier as well. Okay, I guess that's enough on that. But I think now, once and for all, that if a student wants to know about feedback, you know where it's located. I showed you where it's located, and I wish it would let me do it with me. No, I wish it would do it with me so that you could see what my assignment would be. So but this is what it looks like. This is what I see. I see everybody's stuff in here, and it tells me, I'm just showing you. This is week 4, by the way, so don't worry about that. And it's telling me at this particular point that Mr. Wright hasn't submitted anything. None of these people here, which is no problem. Okay. But, and so what I do is I click on your name at that time, and it tells me what your assignment is. And then I will then open up the rubric, and then I will proceed to do what I just showed you a few minutes ago. Okay. So if I put 10 in here for this fella, and then I posted the grade, that's me. Okay. And then it shows me nothing to grade. It says I posted it. So I'll edit the settings and take it out. So I just take it out. So now it goes back to nothing to grade. It won't calculate in here because it says nobody submitted anything, nothing to grade, nothing to post. That's what I see on my end for everybody. But again, I'm not going to show you any specifics because it'll show your grades to the whole class, and that's not something I'm going to do. All right. Any questions about how you can find your feedback? Okay. Because this is for your benefit. This is for your benefit. But actually, you should already have an idea of what my feedback is going to be uh, based upon what you submit. If you use the rubric, it says, okay, check. Did I satisfy section A? Let me ask myself. Maybe even I'll ask somebody else. Maybe I'll ask somebody to read it for me. Get a reader. Maybe your spouse or your friend or, somebody. Not a fellow classmate, by the way. Don't do that. But someone else. Of course, if you're married to a fellow classmate, I did have that. I've had that in my classes. So, but that happened 2 times, but it wasn't a big deal, though. So, but the point of the matter is that I'm trying to help both of us. I'm helping me because it will cut down on you asking me, what did I do wrong? Because you say, oh, he showed me where to find this. I thought I had kind of made it clear before that, but I began to see, no, but you know what? I will tell you who will continue to ask me: people who don't see the lectures or people who go through the lecture just to get the key phrase. I can't help. I can't help that, uh, that kind of thing. So, all right. I'm here to help. And I get kind of, should I say, um, I get to feeling kind of bad when when I bend over and try to help a student, and the question, and this is not to deter the question, but to say, let's cut this short by showing you where you can get your answer to your question. And you need to be proactive. If you're proactive, and don't be so quickly trying to get your assignments in. And one last thing, too many students have sent me messages on Sunday evening at 9 or 10 o'clock my time to say to me, things have been going on, I haven't been able to get my assignments done. That's not so good, because, and they'll send me an email and I won't see it until later, because that's why I say text and email me. I know some of you guys already that are hearing this lecture, I've already talked to before, and and I don't have short conversations with you. Okay, right? I'm kind of like I'm like I feel like I said, I says I'm a coach, and I got to get my players to understand how to execute this play, and sometimes I have to go the long ways around to get there. Uh, but I'm willing to do it. I'm committed to it. So let's do this thing, especially for the second half. All right. I'm going to hold you guys to that. All right. Now, we've gone over this. Um, okay. Grade book. Let's go back now for another way to look at this. Let's look at the assignments for week number 4. And this will show you just basically uh, discussion posts. And nobody has done a discussion post yet. It's okay. But the point of the matter is it will show um, the discussions. It will show that I haven't participated. And then, of course, you lose points for that. But I don't lose points because I'm not really getting a grade. But that would happen to you. See, at the end, for example, I'll click on AB's name, and it'll say no participation. So then I'll put a 0 in here, and then I'll put a note in there saying you haven't participated. Hopefully none of you guys have seen that comment. But that's how it works in terms of the grade book. All right, let's get out of the grade book. We've already talked enough about the grade book. Let's get into the module itself. Ethics and business law. I love this topic. I'm gonna have some fun with this one. So let's talk about the actual assignments first. Okay. All right, let's get to it. So here we are. We're in a digital era. We talked about this during week 1. As one of our transferable skills is digital fluency. And so it says digital has changed our understanding of business. Indeed, advancements in technology have uh, redefined many of our expectations for how life is. And this article tells you about it. And Lord knows that I am one who understands that change drastically because I came out of law school, not college, law school in 1978, and we didn't have any of this stuff. But I'm glad it's here because it's something that's very helpful to my students. I wish we had it, but one of the things that you don't want to do is rely on technology without critical thinking, analysis. But this article, Business and the Ethical Implications of Technology, Introduction to the Symposium, I encourage you to look at that because that's the only way you're going to answer these questions. So you're going to explain your reactions to the article. And then, do you agree with the ideas? Why or why not? And then a reply post at least one classmate's post. Now, remember, once again, you already know this, but I still have to say it, is that you have to participate with your initial post, not by what it says here, the 4th, because that's the reply post, but by the 31st, which is tomorrow night. Okay, 11:59 p.m. Central, and then Saturday, September the 4th. And it reminds you that the activity is hidden until you post a response. So in other words, until you post something, you won't see what everybody else is saying. So you can't even do a reply post until you do your own initial post. Okay. And I already talked about the substance of what they look like, because remember, due dates are in the course syllabus, course calendar, and they're also in the announcements as well. Okay, but remember, in the course syllabus, it tells you when your posts are due, but it also explains the content of the post as well. So you're going to write that citations are welcomed and references, but not required. So click on that and it opens it up. Here it is. I'm testing it to see if there's a problem. I think it should be okay. And here it is. And this is it. If you wanted to, you can actually PDF it, or you can HTML markup and put comments and stuff for yourself there. But if you wanted, for example, to do full text, okay, the way that I would do it is I would print it and it would automatically download it to my computer, and I do that. So you can do that as well. Okay, but it's a very detailed article. I was kind of gleaning over it, but it's you need to understand the importance of this for this written assignment, and you need to understand the importance of it for your own personal knowledge. This is something that you might want to save in your own personal library, by the way, because you'll be able to use this in the future as a professional in business because of the ethical implications. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. So any questions about the discussion assignment so far? Okay. Now to the written assignment, which we've already gone over the rubric. So here's the scenario right here. You're going to read this over. Then you're going to write, okay, a 3 to 4 page brief proposal. Now, here's where students get thrown off. You're still going to write it in essay form. And you're going to answer these questions in this 3 to 4 page document. Now, if you want to go beyond 4 pages, fine. Fine. You won't get penalized. But if you go under 3 pages or 2.5, you're going to lose points for that. And you, by the way, you'd see that in the rubric when I put that in there. So you're going to answer each of these 4 questions. I've kind of talked about that already through the rubric. Okay. Proper grammar, spelling, APA, in-text citations and references. Please provide a cover page. I'm going to do this. Thought that I had changed this. I think I have to change it each week. I do. Okay, so now it says unlimited for you. And the reason being is because I want you to be able to submit a second one during the week. During the week. Let's say, for example, okay, because this is Monday, which, but I don't suggest submitting them until you've done some reading and that. Some students get through with reading by Friday. That's good. But try not to wait until the end of the week before that. But you can, even before I grade it, you can look at it and you read it over, because maybe you were tired at the time you did. Maybe you're just trying to get it out of the way. Don't get that attitude of trying to get it out of the way, because it's going to result in you missing the requirements of your rubric. And so notice what it says. It says activity time should be 6 hours. Well, that has to do with research, organization, and then finally written document. And then APA is included in here, and it must be in the Microsoft Word document. It has to be. I want to show you something again. I think I kind of showed it to you already, but I want to do it one more time. I don't want you to look at this, because I don't want you over here. I want you doing this for general partnerships. I want you to do the same for limited partnerships. I want you to do the same for partnership choice and rationale. And make sure you have sources throughout your paper to cover each of these, because even in the rubric where it says you will lose this, it doesn't just mean you'll lose points. You'll lose a lot of points by not having APA, which can adversely affect up here, because how you're going to give me detailed explanation. Ask yourself this question: how are you going to give Professor Wright thorough and detailed explanation of legal and ethical duties and responsibilities of general partnerships without sources cited to support the information that you come up with? You can't. I can't. And I am a professor. If I'm writing something, I have to do that as well. Okay. The point of the matter is that's a habit to develop. I've discussed that with many of my students, and will continue to do so until I see it go away. It's like trying to tell I tell my kids, trying to tell them to do something, and then they half do it, and I says, okay, but you can't do it, because you're gonna get half the benefits. You want all of the benefits. So I think everybody in this room wants to get 100% on all sections of this. Am I right? Yes. Yeah. Okay. I'm speaking for everybody. Somebody said, "Oh, you can't speak for me." I said, "Well, I am." You might not hear me, but I'm still gonna do it. But I got a bad case of parentism that goes in with that. But that goes with being a coach. A coach is like the parent of the team, and the players execute. Think of it like that. Okay. And once you get that through your head, and I'm saying, let's go for the greatness. Remember, adversity is the springboard to success. My video, I talk about life challenges that, some of them you never have had. People think, oh, I got a bad challenge, and they read mine and they say, oh, I'm gonna stop complaining. Well, you know, so the point of the matter is that, yeah, I was listening to those of you who are in Illinois know about J.B. Pritzker. J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois. Well, J.B. Pritzker, his family is very wealthy because they own Hyatt, the Pritzker family. And the name of Northwestern University School of Law is the J.B. Pritzker. Oh, I don't have my mug down here. J.B. Pritzker School of Law. Not J.B., but Pritzker School of Law, because his family. But J.B. also is a graduate from Northwestern Law School. He came after me, many years after me. But and he's the second governor that I know of from Northwestern. The other one was Pat Quinn, who was actually someone I mentored. But here's what I'm trying to get across to you that JB said, and I just found this out. JB said that he's talking about the coronavirus and people losing their lives. And here's what he said. He says, I understand how it feels to go through some challenges, losing your life. He said, I lost my dad when I was 7 years old. I relate to that exactly because that's how old I was when I lost my dad. My dad was violently killed, but he lost his dad, so he didn't have his dad. His mom died when he was, I think, 16 or 17. My mom was killed when I was 13. So that means that his mom and dad did not see him graduate from college or law school, and mine neither. But he still made it. Somebody said, oh, yeah, but he was rich. Well, I wasn't rich. You know, the only rich I had is the first part of my name, the first four letters. Okay. But no, I'm rich anyway. Not in finance and in money, but I'm rich. I'm rich in knowledge. I'm rich in, I believe, wisdom. And I believe I'm rich in sharing and giving. I have a lot to give out, and you guys are the benefactors of that. So anyway, so my point being is that um, even with all of that, he still had to do well because he wouldn't have got in Northwestern as well as I know, and he wouldn't have got out of Northwestern. He became governor. I was heading for politics, but I said, no, I don't want to do that. I went into ministry instead, but I was heading in that direction. I was offered a judgeship. I turned it flat down, big money, because I wanted to teach for less money, and I'm glad I do. So, but anyway, the point of the matter is, all I'm simply trying to get you to understand is relating another individual that I'm aware of now who went through similar changes of loss of um, their mother and father and still became very successful. Um, so and that's one of the things I encourage you guys to do. There are people who lose their parents at an early age, or their parents are still alive, or either their parents didn't go as far as they did, or either their parents have other problems that prevented them from going forth. Sometimes it's having as a child, but but I'm simply saying that we still now have a chance, and you have a leader on the team here in the person of me to help you. So, okay, I have to do that. I love you guys, and like I said again, I respect you guys to the utmost, but I want the best for you. It's like I told AB. I said, and I said it to him. I said, yeah, that's what you want to be, AB. That's what I want all of my students to be, AB, not just AB Rodriguez, but everybody. But that's true. That's true. That's true. Use what you got. You know, all right. So let's shoot for proficiency and mastership. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Let's shoot for that. Let's go for this. This should be mastery. I don't like, again, like I said, this rubric. The second time this course is taken, which none of you better be in, because you're going to pass through this one. Is It should be mastery, and then all the way down to emerging. But I only focus on mastery with you guys. All right. All right. Let's get back to this. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I do. Oops, I didn't want to do that. So let me go back to my screen. Take you back to it. Bear with me a second, because you can't see what I'm looking at yet because I haven't shared. Okay. Okay, now let's share. Share it again. Okay, so here we go. So we've gone over the assignment, and then the live classroom. Um, uh, this is the phrase that you'll be given, at the end of today. And then your live classroom recording. Most of you, all of you that are here, don't need to know this one because you're here. If you weren't here, still trying to kill these things. You'd think I was outside teaching tonight, but I don't know where the heck they're coming from. But I guess they're trying to come in. It's too hot out there, even for flies. Okay, so your recordings, there you go there. That's the link. If you clicked on that, it would put you back in the classroom. And I don't want to do that because then it will show me speaking twice, and then you hear feedback really fast. All right, moving right along. Let's look at the calendar. Again, I have some good news for everybody in this class. And here's the good news. After tomorrow, you'll be in the last month of the class, which means you're going to turn the corner. So I told you it was going to happen fast. Some people just didn't believe it, but it really is. And then this tells you again where, yeah, it did. But you know what? That's why I start from, as we say in slang terms, jump street. From the initial point, hitting the ground running. I lay out expectations to try to help as much as I possibly can to help my students. So here is the calendar. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Good to hear that. So then your live lecture, if you click on that once again, the hyperlink is there for the actual lecture itself there. All right. And like I say, I like the month view. And you can see your initial post is due tonight. And after this, you have no more assignments for this month to complete, literally, seriously. Because now we go to September. Okay. Well, September 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So your reply post is due the 4th. Your written assignment is due the 5th. And your live classroom phrase is due the 5th. Okay. And then we notice again, the 17th is the end. The end. The end. The end. Okay. All right. So that's your calendar. Again, students sometimes say, where do I find due date information? Well, there it is right there. Again, reminding students, if you want to call me, text me, email me, where do you find my phone number? I have to say it almost every week now because students always say, I have some that say, I don't know where to find your phone number. It's right there in the syllabus, right there. And it tells you the parameters. There it is right there. Very important. So anybody who looks at my lecture, they know what they're looking for. Announcement for week 4. And it tells you the topic today is what we started, ethics and business law. Chapters 7, 19, and 20 of the textbook. Laws and ethics, general versus limited partnership, ethics in the business world. And then it talks about the scheduled lecture. There, one more time, is the link. If you can click on that in your announcement, it'll lead you to it as well. Your discussion assignment that I've already talked about and the due dates and all of that. And your written assignment, as well. Notice how I say that. Pay close attention to the rubrics. A student told me once that when they see something in all caps, that means that the writer is yelling. Well, okay, I'm not really yelling. I'm just calling emphasis to it. But if I could yell that too, I'm not going to do that in your ears, but you guys know what I'm talking about. That means this is critical. Okay. And due on Sunday. And then my motto, adversity is a springboard to success. Let's finish strong. All right. Okay. Well, our time is moving, but we might go a few minutes over because I want to make sure that I get into the content. But I felt like it was important to do what I did for the first half an hour because I'm trying to salvage the second half for everyone. Everyone. Okay. So let's talk about laws and ethics. I think I shared this with you that I taught business law as well as ethics in business at this school here. And so laws are basically, I'm not going to read over all of this stuff here, are here to keep order, to protect the business owners as well as the customers or the consumers as well. And also it's there to protect the individuals who work there or individuals from being discriminated against, as it talks about the Civil Rights Act of '64. You got things like OSHA, the Occupational Safe and Healthy Act guidelines to make sure that you are not in a dangerous environment when you're working, dealing with contracts, and operating in what we call good faith and fair dealing. And so there is this awesome act known as the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. I remember talking about this. This legislation came about to hold accountable people engaged in corporate matters and transactions, and it compelled them to report known suspected misconduct, whistleblowing, so to speak, commonly referred to as SOX. Go Sox. Anyway, that's a digression to my team there. These dudes right here. Okay. All right. Sorry, Cub fans. But anyway, it was created following the discovery of Enron. Now, I had a whole big detail I did on Enron. Do you guys know anything about Enron? Have you ever heard of Enron? Okay, let me help you. Let me educate you. This was a stock deal where the stock was inflated, and people who invested money basically had their money stolen. The books were cooked. It was Enron, which was the energy company, that misstated their 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 assets and things, and their accountants. Does anybody know or know who their accountants were? Any of you guys ever heard of Arthur Anderson? It's probably because during that era, they went under. Google Arthur Anderson. They were a major accounting firm, like, for example, uh, give me the name of a major accounting firm that you guys are familiar with. Name one. Any accounting people in here? Major accounting firms. What does PwC stand for? Pete, you, was that Pete? Well, there was a company called Pete Marwick and Mitchell that changed their name. Um, but anyway, Arthur Anderson was a major conglomerate. Price Waterhouse Coopers. Yeah, yeah. Aren't they the ones who do the counting for do the envelopes for the Grammys, Oscars, and things of that nature too, as well? Aren't they the ones? I think so. But anyway, the point of the matter is that these are firms, and my mother, my adopted mother, was on WGN. She did the lottery on Channel 9, and it was Pete Marwick and Mitchell, or Price Waterhouse, who tabulated and kept up with the lottery and all of that stuff here. But anyway, these are firms that participated together. Now, uh, does anybody is anybody familiar with the name Tom Skilling from Chicago? Any of you guys? Latanya, you should be. Have you heard that name before? I thought you were in Chicago area. Aren't you in Chicago? Willie, you should. You're in Chicago. How about WGN TV? I know you're in Texas, AB, but Willie is in Illinois, and I think Latanya's in Illinois, right? Am I right? Latanya, you're not in Illinois? I thought you were in Illinois. Oh, you're in Texas. Okay, I'm mixing you up. I know Willie is here, right? Yes. Tom Skilling is a weatherman on Channel 9, the older guy that's been on Channel 9 for a long, long, long time. He's yeah, since 1978 when I came out of law school. And he's a professor, they call him, because he prognosticate. But the reason why I mentioned Tom Skilling is because his brother Jeffrey, who were raised in Illinois, in Aurora, Illinois, went to Aurora West High School, and Tom went into meteorology, and his brother went into business, and he was the president of Enron, and Jeffrey was his name. He went to jail. There was a guy in front of him, and I can't remember his name. Ken Lay, Kenneth Lay, Lay. Um, yeah, he was sentenced to 24 years. But Kenneth Lay didn't go because he committed suicide. So Jeffrey took the fall. So anyway, it was a big deal here, particularly. But there are other companies like Tyco. Tyco. You ever heard of Tyco? Yeah. Wait. Okay, Willie. Where did you hear of Tyco? Yeah, Wall Street. Yep. You ever heard of Beanie Babies? Yeah, Tyco. They were the ones that made the Beanie Babies and other things like that. But and WorldCom was a communications network that was up like Sprint and all those. I had WorldCom at one time. Anyway, these are companies that violated ethical principles and resulted in people going to jail. And so the Sarbanes-Oxley Act is a legislation to promote responsibility for these type of actions. You gotta do some research, man. When you see this stuff here, SOX, you'll learn a whole lot. It'll blow you away. So we're going to deal with corporate ethics in just a few minutes. Again, we're a little over our time, but the point of the matter is that what you're going to discover here in just a little bit when you do your reading and studying is that it is important that we have ethical principles operating our businesses. Where did you hear someone talk about ethics? I'll tell you, right here. Remember, we operate on the basis of ethical principles at this school. And that I said at the beginning, I produce educated, ethical, and professional. Yep. But also, if you remember, ethics is one of our transferable skills, right? And we said that employers want ethical people working for them. I teach criminal justice, and Lord knows what happens to ethical people in criminal justice. They end up unethical people, such as what happened in Minnesota, you know, in the George Floyd killing. But I'm saying that the situations with SOX and what happens with Enron, and just do some research, guys, and it will help you to be able to find out about the things that these individuals who are leaders, because you're going to discover that in corporations, when you have a corporation, that the board of directors, as well as the chairman of the board and the leaders of the company, can go to jail for illegal practices within the company, and it falls back on them. So they just they didn't give us, to me now, they didn't give us enough information. But if you look at the Sarbanes-Oxley Act and understand SOX and what it was intended to do, it was intended to protect. So all right. So now let's look at consumer safety laws, making sure that you're not giving individuals equipment or something to work with that would endanger their lives. And so some people have already said this, that people who are forced to work in jobs without taking care of their the COVID issue is creating an occupational safety hazard issue, and that's one of the issues that's up and coming, and it's here actually right now. That's a new thing that's coming. And remember, when it happens, you're gonna say, "I heard my professor talking about that." All right. So let's talk about partnerships, because you're going to have to write about this. So there's limited partnerships and general partnerships. Now, the general partnership is very simply put in this statement: all partners are equally responsible for the debts, obligation, and responsibilities of the venture. Now, you should also be aware that in a general partnership, the individual's personal assets outside of the partnership can also be encumbered as well. So it says here, consider this scenario here: two partners begin, and it takes two or more, by the way. You can't be a partnership with yourself, two or more. And the new initiative have strong consumer demand interests, and its initial growth has been successful. Both profits and revenues are strong, and by the end of the first year, the company retained a large number of investors. The partners are quite eager about the development. And then it talks about what happened. One day, while preparing a accounting report, one of the partners sees a discrepancy. Assuming that it's a calculation error, the partner reviews the content again for correction. Another area is detected. Each are inflated to give the company an appearance of greater stock value. This is kind of like what happened in Enron. And Greatly concerned and worried, the partner confronts the other business partner, and it's revealed that the other partner deliberately adjusted the information to attract more shareholders. Unethical practice. Under these circumstances and without a governing partnership agreement in place, any liability for damages goes with both partners, even if only one partner did it. So that's one of the things. Now, let's talk about limited partnerships for now. Limited partnerships, in contrast to general partnerships, allow for liability to be restricted among certain members. Here's who's protected. Limited partnerships are controlled by state law because every state has what we call a Limited Partnership Act, and is registered with the Secretary of State in most jurisdictions. In Illinois it is. Limited partnerships and those engaged in those endeavors retain the responsibility to comply with the laws, to act in the interest of the organization. Those partners with limited status do not carry the same risk as general partners. A limited partnership can also be comprised of both general and limited participants. Get that understanding. State laws may require general and limited partnerships to uphold full accountability. So here's the deal. If you're a limited partner, you don't operate on the basis of running the meeting. You are running the business. Your investment is pretty much what will control your liability. So limited partnerships allow for restricted liability among certain members. And limited partnerships, again, are controlled by state statutes. So you'll be able to see that. Take a look at the Limited Partnership Act in your jurisdiction. You're in Texas, you're in Florida, you're in Illinois. I'm familiar with the one in Illinois because I've dealt with that many times. So that's just a thumbnail sketch of what they want us to talk about there in terms of that. But you get more into it if you run into questions there. So now I'm going to conclude by talking about ethics and the business world. I've already kind of talked about that, dealing with OSHA, that every worker is entitled to safe working conditions, and the employers are responsible for workplaces free from recognized hazards. That is why I made the statement that I made a few minutes ago about the virus and people getting the shots and wearing masks and all those things. So stay tuned to this channel. You're going to see them. I promise you, you will see them. They're coming down the pike. I've shared with some of my legal colleagues that are still practicing that they see it coming. They see class actions coming and things of that nature for individuals where they end up getting sick because the employer is not taking care of not just sanitizing the place, but more and more employers now, as you already know because of this variant, are requiring not only masks, but in our state, Illinois, mandatory masks, but also they're allowing employers to determine that you must get the shot or else you'll lose your job. Right now, excuse me, the mayor of Chicago, for example, is in battle with the organizations of police officers to force them to take shots because they interact with the public. So that's going to fit in OSHA. That's going to be the new thing. Then we deal with finally safe products, manufacturing vehicles, toys. Wait, take a look. You get a chance to. Again, when I taught business ethics, we talked about Toyota and software malfunctions and other things. You click on that link and it'll show you more information. Ethics and supply chain management, where 14 million toys are recalled due to issues with lead paint and magnets and other things. So there are all kind of recalls that are taking place that have come about, and so it's because of the uh, quick thing to make money and get stuff out there without making sure that it's safe for the public. And so a company that seeks to serve its stakeholders may be strengthened in its own future sustainability by making sure that they have safe products out there. Okay, that's all I got for today. But this is if your readings and your PowerPoints and that have a whole lot more information, and I guarantee you you'll have plenty to not only just learn about it, but you'll also understand the importance of the organizational structure. And this week we're dealing with partnerships, limited as well as general partnerships. Okay, and that's it. Went a little over, but we did because I did what I did earlier. Any suggestions for a key phrase? Because I already got one in mind. That's close. No more. Latanya, you're on the right track. What goes with that? Yeah. How about this? I've mentioned it several times. Business ethics. That's it. That's the phrase. Give me business ethics and you'll get your points. Don't just give me ethics. Business ethics. Because that's the overall thing that we just talked about a few minutes ago. And I talked about with the SOX, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act out there as well. But boy, do research that Enron thing. And man, it'll blow you away. I mean, it will, I got old slides somewhere stored away from when I taught uh, that business ethics course, and we talked about not just Enron. We also talked about Bank of America. We talked about it's another mortgage company that's not around anymore, and I can't remember the name of it now. Washington Mutual, WAMU. We also talked about, and I kind of yes, I said the key phrase. Um, I said the key phrase. When you go back, you'll get it. I can't say it again, but it's there. Okay, not trying to be difficult, but uh, people who don't come will have an advantage if I say it again. Okay, you guys spent the time here, um, but um, but we also talked about, and I talked about this, the Taco Bell. Remember me talking about um, the um, the fillers that are used that are the government allows them to use, and those kinds of things. But it has to do with labeling. If, for example, okay, my wife goes to the store and she gets some cranberry juice. I says if it says 100% juice and look at the side of it, it's cranberry juice. But if it has anything in it other than cranberry juice, then it's not cranberry juice. It's going to be cocktail or something, and it probably will cost less. But it'll say 100% on there. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah, so that you know what you're paying for and you get what you're paying for. So, all right, I've kept you long enough. So you guys got a lot of help tonight about getting these assignments done. And so let's get them in. Again, I will grade the assignments for week 3 by the end of the week and have you go in there. Again, feel free to reach out to me if you need any help on anything. All right. So you guys stay safe, and I'll see you for week number 5 next week, Monday. Okay, which I think next Monday is Labor Day, isn't it? So we're having a lecture. Okay. I know it's a holiday, but we're online. So if it was residential, we wouldn't. But we're online, and I have to keep to the schedule and make sure that you do it. So it's late at night. So by that time you're done with your whatever you're going to be doing. They say it's the last holiday where you barbecue. I disagree with that because I know people who barbecue Thanksgiving. So all right. So I'll see you next week. Take care.